Hello, welcome once again to EverydayHDR.com. I am Blake Rudis, and today I'm going to show you how to make some creative effects with a brush. So this is the most recent HDR concert submission that I did for my blog, and I took an ordinary photo and I made it a little bit, I guess, extraordinary. It's kind of a funny word, extraordinary, when you say it like that. Here is the original photo, and then I did a lot of tone mapping and post-processing to get it to this point. But one of the things that I want to point out to you are the paratroopers in this picture, and how I got the paratroopers in this picture to be so random without copying and pasting it a bunch of different times. So what I have here is a snippet of a paratrooper that I took a long time ago in a photo, but I snipped it out and made it its own layer, and I wanted these to be silhouetted paratroopers, kind of like the paratroopers were just covering the sky. So I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to copy and paste over and over and over again this same layer and make 50 to 100 layers of paratroopers. So what I did was I turned it into a brush. So how I turned this into a brush is I already selected this paratrooper. Now if I control click on this paratrooper that has already been extracted from the photo, I'm getting just the selection of what the paratrooper is on this background layer. Now what I want to do is I want to make a new layer and press Shift F5 and fill that with black. So now I have that silhouetted paratrooper. I can go ahead and get rid of this paratrooper right now and go ahead and press Control E to flatten those. So I'm going to go to Image or Edit and go to Define Brush Preset. We'll go ahead and make this sampled brush 3. Press OK. Actually, let's make this paratrooper. May as well name it while we're here, right? So now what you can see is that it's already made that brush for me. If I right click and go to my brushes, that is a paratrooper brush for me right now. So now how did I make these paratroopers look so random on here? If I were to go File, New, and paint with this is the paratrooper brush that I have. Now let's go File, New, and let's do something a little differently. So I'm going to go into the brush presets over here. You can go to Window and go to View Brush the same way. If you don't have it in your sidebar, that's not a problem. You can just go up to Window and click Brush, and it'll bring you up with this window. So now you have the shape dynamics. You can actually change the shape of the brush and how it's going to manipulate the brush per stroke. So look down here at the brush as I manipulate this. It's going to change the size of the brush as I paint with that paintbrush. So now you can change the diameter of that brush as it goes through also. I'm going to keep it at the minimum diameter. You can change the angle, which was great for this photo. So every paratrooper looks like it's at a different angle every time I click on my mouse. You can change the roundness of that brush. I don't want to do that because I'm really flattening out my paratroopers at this point, so I'm going to leave that normal. Scattering. This is one of the most important ones. You can change the scattering of the brush as you paint with it, and that's how I got the main effect of these paratroopers. So if I scroll over on the scattering, as I move over, it's going to scatter them more and more, and you see how the sizes are different for all these paratroopers now. I can change the count so there's tons per stroke, or reduce it. You can make them go back and forth with the counter jitter. You can add a texture to it. You can make it a dual brush. You can combine this brush with another brush. You can change the color of the brush as the brush goes through. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with this, but let's go ahead and see what this is going to do now with this random. So you see now the sizes are random, but it doesn't get any larger than the size that I have selected. So if I want it to be smaller, it's not going to get any larger than this brush. That's pretty much how I littered the sky with paratroopers here. So let me go ahead and make a new layer for paratroopers. Let's see, where's that layer going to end up? Let's put it right here. Okay. And again, I'm just painting these paratroopers in, and I can click and drag and make series of them, or I can do single clicks, and every time I click it's going to be a different size and in a different area too, kind of uncontrolled. Now I can make them really small, but they will never get larger than the brush that I have here, and then I can make them really large if I wanted to. And that was the basic idea behind this, the paratroopers in this photo. And then if I wanted to, what I could do is click on the background, or on that layer 13, which is my paratroopers, and change that to overlay, so they kind of blend in with the sky a little bit better. I wanted this to look like an infiltration of paratroopers against this cannon in World War II. So that is the brush preset in a nutshell, how you can change the preset to the brush, so that you're not just painting with a normal brush anymore. You can actually create different dynamic effects for each brush. Just another way to think about something when you're doing your post-processing. The possibilities with this are endless. You can make hair follicles with this that, you know, change color as you paint. You can do all kinds of things with this. So just go ahead and experiment with that brush palette, and you'd be surprised what you can pull out with Photoshop and brushes. Alright, thank you. Again, I am Blake Rudis with everydayhdr.com. If you have any questions or comments or critiques, you can visit www.everydayhdr.com. You can leave me a comment. You can leave me a comment on YouTube, or you can send me an email to blake1@rudis.net or everydayhdr@gmail.com. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a great weekend and play with some brushes. Take care.